Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about LEGO, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up and coming around the LEGO world. I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's belt on it. Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing today? Hopefully you're quite lovely. Yes, you are. You are absolutely lovely. You're doing perfect. You're doing really well. Absolutely you are. So today we are here to talk about 2 Brickheadz. Oh my God, and a dramatic pause. Yes, if you know anything about me, you know that I am not a Brickheadz person. I'm not somebody that's like, I need all bajillion of them on shelves right here so I can see all the Brickheadz. It's just not my thing. It's not my game. It's not my play. However, from time to time, LEGO does things where you're like, you know what, these Brickheadz, they're not too bad. They actually kind of work in their own way. Lord of the Rings Brickheadz that I had more recently than not. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you're like, I need them in my completion of all the sets. Other people are like, okay, I guess I'll get them for completion of the Brickheadz, but I don't really have anything to go along with them. So we reach that point. You either love it or you don't. Hate? Probably not. It's either a yes or a no at the counter. So what we are talking about today is Brickheadz, but it is Sonic the Hedgehog. It's Sonic and it's also Tails, believe it or not. So there are 2 of them. So I don't have any specific data on these because I wasn't given any specific data. And, we're going to roll with it. My guess is that each of these sets is the $10, €10 price point. You can extrapolate that what you will from whatever your standard currency is, British pounds, Canadian dollars, Australian dollars, New Zealand, all of that kind of deal. So the first one up is Sonic the Hedgehog. He is Brickheadz 213. Can you imagine that there are 214 Brickheadz at this point in time in the game? I know he's 213, but my God, 214 Brickheadz. That seems an incredible amount. So what he is, well, he's Sonic the Hedgehog in Brickheadz form. I must say, though, I do like his chest that is done in the front. I thought it was a unique way to just use an arch piece here. He does hold a golden ring in his hand, which is quite nice. The hands you can choose on the 2x4 plate. You can either put them forward or you can put them down, or absolutely you can put them in a rearward position. You cannot put them in an upward facing position. That will not work. It is brick locked. He does have green tiled eyes, but the black and white print that is on there, the standard Brickheadz print is on there, but the actual tile is of a green color, which is kind of nice. So his legs are, for a Brickhead, considering the Lord of the Rings, which is the last one I touched, his legs are much wider. They're actually a stud wider if you consider they are offset by using a jumper plate down below what is essentially a jumper plate because of the 1x2 rounded tiles with an open stud. There are 2 of them that are on top of a plate here, so you have that. It's probably more than a stud. It's probably more like a stud and a half. Anyway, so you have the feet on the edge that hang off. It's kind of nice. The masking of his face is absolutely perfect. I think they did a really good job with that. The tiling that was done around there works really, really well. His ears, I think, are done really, really well. What I think was done absolutely perfectly, when you think of Sonic, when you think of, him and his running, you think of absolute insane speed, like speed that is incalculable to a human. And they accomplish that here. You have so many feathering type slopes that are coming off of here that just increase the idea that this guy's going right past everybody. It really works quite well. I do love the way that is done. It's very rough on the back end. Like I'm taking my hand across it right now and I'm like, ooh, I don't think so. It's intended to look like the back end of Sonic, and you don't really get to see it in, real world type applications. I haven't seen both of the Sonic movies. I made it through like 40 minutes of the first one and I gave up because it was bad. My point behind it is when you see Sonic in 2D, this is what Sonic looks like in 2D. And I think they did a really good job of it. If you put him in front, maybe that's what he looks like in 3D, but the 2D was absolutely nailed in my honest opinion. So next up, we have my favorite. We have Miles Tails Prower. He is Brickheadz 214. I don't care what you say. Tails is by far probably my favorite Brickhead. Look, if Lego went and they said they did retro Ghostbusters, they did retro TMNT. Yes, I'm dating myself to a certain degree. I'm giving away all my secrets. Give me something like that. I'm full in and you get 100% from me straight out of the gate. Now, if I have it in my hand and it's different, well, that's a whole nother story. But Tails is different. He's got an orange color to him. Of course, the white accents and stuff like that. They use some claw or teeth pieces, however you prefer to call them, from next to his eyes to, adjacent to his mouth. I think it's nice. I think it's kind of unique. They use a bow type tile here that is a 1x2 version in that same orangish color that is supposed to be that kind of little wisp piece of his hair that is sticking up. But look, I've built many Brickheadz, not from the start. At this point, I've probably built around maybe 100 personally on the show, stuff like that. Brickheadz content doesn't do the best, honestly, because some of you are like, it's a Brickheadz, I don't really care. The most fascinating thing about this build, well, I should say two things. The first thing is the tails, right? He is Tails, and he's got the big puffy tail, the orange with the white tips. Those rotate around in the back. There are two of the, dear God, I don't know what these are called. Anyway, they have these semi-type knee arm joints, these rounded Technic-esque pieces that are back here, and they have white cones on the back. That gives you his tail. It works. Same color, or I shouldn't say same color, same kind of eyes as Sonic, but on these, they are on a darker azure tile here. The black, the white, the squares and stuff like that. They have that there. But what fascinates me is he honestly fits the character really, really well. It's nostalgic. If you are a fan of the original Sonic games, you're going to love these without a doubt. I can promise you that. So he does have two hands, same as Sonic, that have clips. He comes with a wrench. You can honestly, put his wrench in an upward position. It's not going to do the best because the claw tooth type piece that's sticking out the side of his neck, but it's not horrible. The best thing, I shouldn't say the best thing, the most interesting thing about Tails is how they get the ears in their position. So you build up the ears assembly and they're on a 1x6, if I'm not mistaken. It literally gets slid into position. No stud connection, no clip connection, no connection at all. It's just free floating. And you lock it into place with 2x2 slopes and you're done. It doesn't do anything else. It's literally that. And it's not like, this is not the first time Lego has done something like this. They put a semi mini assembly together and they stick it in here and they clip it into place, or they stud it into place with, these plates or these bricks and stuff like that. These tiles, it's done. Yes, they do that here, but it's at the top end of the build. And honestly, it just changes things slightly so much. But I love the fact that, like I said, I have put together a number of Brickheadz. I don't recall seeing something like this, where you build this miniature assembly, drop it in, and hey, it's game over, good night. You know, you kind of semi-tile it into place and it's over. Incredible. I think the likeness of both of them is spot on. And one thing that I did forget to mention is their shoes. Footwear for Sonic, for Tails is incredible. They have the front of their shoe that is white and the back, well, I should say for Tails that is red. Sonic, it's red, white, red for Sonic's shoe, which, you know, it fits. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that if I had to keep any Brickheadz in the last 2, maybe 3 years, aside from the Ninjago ones, and when I say keep, like keep built for display, these would be 2 of them. I think the design team did a great job of capturing their essence, not from a film, from their 2D figures. Now, obviously, you're going to take, you know, some kind of artistic ability to get the front of them. You know, you're going to work around. Maybe you watch I can't even remember. I'm going to fire up my Sega just to see, you know, do you see the front of the face when you launch it or whatever? Absolutely incredible. Big fan of these. So if you're curious at this point, 40627 and 40628. So it's Sonic and then Tails. Again, I think they're worth it. I think they're worth their weight in gold, honestly. I think they hit the mark. Brickheadz has done a lot of different things over the years, but, you know, going retro, like if you were to give me a version of Pac-Man in a Brickhead, I don't know how the hell you would do it. I'd be game, you know, give me some Frogger. At this point, I'm like, okay, we did Pac-Man, give me some Frogger. But everything else, who knows? We'll see what happens. So out of a scale of 10, this is tough. Putting nostalgia aside, build quality, you know, piece count, stuff like that, I would say an 8. Honestly, an 8. I know some of you just dropped your coffee in your lap and you're like, holy crap, slamming on the brakes, swerving to the side of the road. I get it. I honestly think an 8, maybe an 8 1/4, just to elevate ever so slightly. But I think they're worth it. They're if you've ever put together a Brickheadz build, you know what to expect. Absolutely. It is completely the same way the whole way through, other than Tails with his ears dropping in. And I may have missed that on some other build that I haven't built before, and that's fine. Just saying. So I'll take the 8.25. They are available, coming soon to a world around you. And again, limited information, so I can't give you all the specifics, unfortunately. It is what it is. However, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Shorter episode. So until we meet again, I'm your Minifigure Matt. Let's bet on it.